Hello young artists, and welcome to this video tutorial about how to paint a lion face portrait. To make this artwork you will need acrylic paints, a drawing pencil, some circular shapes for stencils and paper that you can paint on. I'm using an A2 sized art paper which is 16.5 inches by 23.5 inches, but you can adapt the size of the paper to what you have available to you. Using your pencil, draw around your larger circle stencil. For me this was a plastic picnic plate, and then use your smaller one, which for me was the DVD, across the bottom of the perimeter of that circle so that it is cut through the center by the large circle. With your pencil, find the midline of that line that cuts through the center of the smaller circle and take a straight line up to the top of the small circle. This is where we locate the nose or the nostrils of your big cat, your lion. Using a triangular shape, on the bottom two halves of the nostrils, draw a curved line at the top of the nostril so that it resembles a stretched out or wide heart shape. Add in two top lips, about 2 finger spaces up from the midline. Curve these two lines down to meet the edges of the circle. These will become the top lips of your lion. Using the top half of the smaller circle as a guide, draw two curved lines that extend up just above those nostrils to form the bridge of the nose. Now we're going to quickly return to the chin and square it up a little bit. Pay careful attention to the bottom of the chin and draw a rainbow, a very shallow rainbow line for that bottom of the chin, and some diagonal lines heading up to the corners of the mouth. Hop back up to the bridge of the nose. At this point, straighten them out a little bit. There should be a width between those two lines at the narrowest point of the bridge of the nose that is approximately the same as the nostrils. This will also line up with the inner points of the two arcs that make up the eyes. Draw those two arcs just above the center of your big circle and make them quite wide, but about 2 finger spaces in from the edges of the circle. Try and draw them level with each other. Adding in the eyes, the bottom of the eyes are a bit of a slope. So the right eye will be sloping up to the right and the left eye sloping up to the left. Draw those bottom eyelids curved. Then add in the colored part of the eyes, the iris, as 2 brackets inside each of those almond shaped eyes or eyelids. And inside of the colored part of the eye you would want to draw 2 pupils for the eye. These pupils on this line look hooded. It makes the face look face down but looking up at you. Moving on above the head, we've got 2 large ears. They're slightly pointy at the top, and then just between the ears, instead of keeping the top of the head curved, you can make it slightly pointy, which is where the mane starts to grow from. Still keep the curve of the ears and the top of the head. Now add in 2 more curves inside the ears. This is to show that the ears are turning slightly to the side, listening to sounds. The mane, you start from the very top of the page using a zigzag line, zigzag to the left down the left side of the paper, thinking as if there is gravity dragging this head down towards the bottom of the page, and repeat on the right hand side with zigzag lines that are bending to the right and then down towards the bottom of the page where the 2 sides meet in a point. Add in the 2 shoulders to the left and to the right. The next step is to trace over our pencil drawings with a black wax crayon or an oil pastel. Either one will do. These form really nice boundaries to hold our paints inside the areas where we want them to be. Starting at the top of the head, trace over the lines of the ears, and as you get to the inside of the ear, use zigzag lines because the inside of the ears are pretty fluffy on a lion. Moving on to the eyes, trace over the eyelids, and the pupils of the eye can be colored in with black. Try and keep a small dot in the pupil of the eye uncoloured for the light spot in the eye. Moving down to the nostrils, colour those in black. Outline the bridge and sides of the lips, and then add in a few marks along those top lips, which is where the whiskers grow out of. Trace over the lion's chin with a zigzag line. Again, those zigzag lines are pointing down towards the bottom of your paper. And finally, draw large curving zigzag lines around either side to trace over the mane. And finish off by tracing over the shoulders. We start by using colour in the eyes first. Oil pastels are fabulous for creating translucent, shiny eye colours. The lion has amber coloured eyes, and we will use a few colours to create that look. Starting off with the yellow, fill in all of the iris colour with that. Add in a few scribbly lines with the orange oil pastel, and finish with the ochre or light brown colour by drawing from the center, the black pupil, out towards the edges of the eyes in a fan design, back and forward, blending all those three colors in beautifully. Add white oil pastel to the light spot in the eye and the two corners of the eye. This will make those amber eyes really pop. Let's move on to painting the lion's face. We are going to be using acrylic paints. The first color is the white. Use this on the chin, inside the ears, and across the top lips. You will be able to paint over the black marks because these will show through after the paint is dried. For the fur, we're going to use three colors: burnt umber for your darkest brown shadows, raw sienna for the mid brown, and yellow oxide or ochre for your light brown. Starting with the yellow oxide, the lightest of the colors, we are going to continue painting up from the muzzle across the bridge of the nose and up onto the forehead. At the top of the forehead, fan the paint out to the left and to the right. Now we move on to our mid color, the raw sienna, to add in the shadows around the edges of the face. Using that pointed tip of your paintbrush, pulling that medium colored brown in towards the center so that it blends neatly into your lighter color. This same mid color can also be used to fill in the sides of the ears. Continue all the way around the edge of your lion's face. Make sure you are blending really well between the medium and the light color so you don't end up with a stripe going around the edge. To keep a clean and tidy edge, use the side of your brush and pull it along the outline, the black outline, and that way there's less chance of you going out of the lines of the lion's face. Fill most of the cheeks in with the mid color as well, and then at the very center and just underneath the eyes, bring back your lightest yellow oxide color to give it some highlights underneath the eyes and in the center of the cheeks. You can add some of your burned umber or your dark brown down each side of the bridge of the nose for a little bit of shadow. This makes the nose look like it is coming forward and out of the face and gives the face some three-dimensional appearance. You can see me blending the burned umber carefully into my raw sienna here. Again, switch out to your lightest yellow oxide for filling in the center of the cheeks and underneath the eyes. And something you might notice as you're working is that the more the paint dries, the easier it seems to be to blend from one color to another in a smoother way. Another option you might like to explore is to add a little bit of shadow inside of the ears by picking up the tiniest little bit of the yellow oxide, the lightest color, and blending it into the white that is inside of the ears, just alongside those zigzag lines to add a little bit of shadow under the fluff. When you move on to the body, same thing again, using the lightest color nearest the bottom where more light comes onto the fur, and moving to the darkest color underneath the mane. The darkest color, which is where the shadow is cast onto the body by the mane. Now we can use the same palette again for our mane. Of course, it's still fur for the lion, but we're going to add two bold colors to this. We're going to add an orange and a red. These are just going to add a bit of fun to our mane and make it stand out from the fur of the face. Using your large, soft, pointy brush, you are going to pick up one color, any color from your palette, and paint it from the side or the edge of the face out to the tips of that particular mane. Without cleaning your brush, you're going to now collect a different color and do the same again alongside the first streak. The streaks can be any thickness, any width, thin or thick, it doesn't matter. Just keep continually collecting a different color each time and work your way through all the colors. And if they blend a little bit together, that's fine. And if you can see the colors separately, that's fine too. Aim to fill in all of the spaces of the mane. And the other thing you need to aim to do is to follow the curve of the mane as it curves out to the side and then down towards the ground, as if gravity is pulling the mane down. Where you might have painted an area, quite a large area of the same color, use the very tip of your brush to collect a contrasting color and draw or paint thin streaks through this large patch of the same color. Using this technique and multiple colors does give the mane a sense of texture. It makes it look like it is hair that's growing out from the side of your lion's head. Like this lion is really starting to look like the king of the jungle now, with his beautiful colourful mane. Now you can leave your painting there with the natural colour of the paper as your background, or you can include some grass or some sky behind your lion. If you really are keen on adding a background, you maybe want to paint the background before you paint the mane itself. That way there's no chance of you painting over this beautiful mane accidentally with blues and greens. I hope you have fun painting your very own line portrait.